Facebook.
You're going live on the Instagrams.
We're live?
Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. You are live.
We are live. We are live. Hey, can you grab me a pen, Nat?
Yeah.
Hey guys, 305-865-8668. Also, I printed notes on the machine. Can you please grab that for me? Young Hustlers today, we got a great show. We're talking about weaknesses. People don't like talking about them, but we digging all up in it. We're gonna get all up in the weakness today. Call in 305-865-8668. Call in with your questions. Call in with your comments.
$1 million giveaway.
We're doing a $1 million giveaway right now. What are we doing right now?
What are we doing?
Dude, we've given away over $100,000. Last night we gave away 25 grand. 5 people guessed the correct score. There should be, double-sided. That's interesting.
Is that everything?
Yeah, it's just double-sided.
Oh, here's my notebook.
Okay, $1 million giveaway. Please, please, please follow Grant on social platforms. We have different contests running right now for, man, we titled the YouTube thing the wrong thing.
We can change it. It's okay.
How to dominate your weaknesses.
I love
Domination. People like that word, right?
that.
Dun, 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 dun. That would-
All right, so we're going to give
Yeah.
you got 30 seconds till we start.
Dude, we're giving away $1 million. Follow GC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, because each platform has unique contests. We're giving away money every single day. There are winners.
More.
You just need to win yours. Get yours.
10 seconds to show start.
It's yours. The world in the palm of your hand. It's yours.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are go.
All about. All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Young Hustlers, where every week on Thursday at noon East Coast Standard Time, myself, Grant Cardone, we come here and we drop some bombs. Now, look, I don't know a whole lot about a whole lot, but I do know a little about what it takes to get towards or closer to the things that you want in life. I'm certainly on my way. I'm to the point now where life is starting to get a bit easier for me. It was really, really hard in the beginning. Had to go through some tough stuff, had to confront some things. And today things are getting a bit easier. So really excited for you to be on the show. If you have any questions, we're talking about weaknesses today. We're talking about areas of opportunity and growth and how you can freaking just dominate these things and make them your little bitch. Harsh in the early on, right? This one's marked explicit. Call into the show, 305-865-8668, 305-865-8668. Again, if you're on iTunes, if you're on Stitcher, please subscribe to the podcast, rate it, review it. We love to see those reviews. So, dude, I want to talk today about weaknesses. And, you know, weaknesses, I think, are a hard thing for a lot of people to confront because they view them as a loss, right? They're not good at something, and then they get all upset. And, you know, particularly with social media, you see everybody around you doing things, and you're like, man, well, how come I can't do that? Or I can never be like that? Or, you know, why me? And then you get in this whole victim thing, and you end up losing confidence, and it's just this, like, nasty thing that really, like, freaking pounds on your self-esteem. And I don't know if that's the whole truth for you, but there's certainly got to be some pieces of truth in there. And so today I want to talk about, like, when you have areas of weakness or you have areas where you can grow or improve, like, how do you approach those? Because there are some people that will tell you that, you know, look, if you're not good at something, just don't do it. And you should hire people to do that for you. You hear that a lot. Like you hear CEOs talk about, yeah, well, I'm not good at this, so I just hire people to do that. Well, like, dude, most of you, including myself, most of us, we don't have the ability to hire people to do everything that we're not good at, right? Like I remember when I was getting started with Grant, I sucked at making cold calls. I couldn't hire somebody to do that for me. I couldn't even barely pay my freaking rent. I was sleeping on an air mattress, right? So this message is really for the people that are in a position where they're like, man, I got areas of weakness in my life, whether that's sales skills, whether that's you want to be more introverted or you want to be more extroverted because you're an introvert, you want to make more money, whatever the case may be. Like there are areas that you have weaknesses in. I want to teach you how to freaking run into those things head on today, just from my own personal experience with what I've seen work. So, look, the first thing that you have to understand is like when you have something that you're not good at, like, and I'm going to speak for the purpose of the show today, I'm going to talk about weaknesses in the context of like your career. Makes it a little easier. So like when you have weaknesses in let's just say cold calling or follow-up, closing a transaction, motivation, things like that, you got to understand that those are big areas of opportunity for you. I had a turning point. I remember that, I was always really nervous when I first started selling for Grant. I was always really nervous to get into like the negotiations of a deal. Like I was like, oh man, I got this big bad CEO of this company and super powerful, multi-millionaire. And, I'm just this, lowly person making hardly any money at all. Like, how am I going to freaking bone up against this guy and have the hard conversation, right? And so for me, that was one of the biggest areas that I had. I didn't have so much a problem with making the cold call, but it was when I was getting into that stage where I had to freaking confront this person of power or influence or whatever you want to call it. I had to figure out how to freaking do that. And so I had this moment where I was like, dude, every time you go into this type of phone call, you start getting nervous and your stomach starts turning, and then you end up delaying the phone call a little bit. And then, maybe sometimes you push it off so far it doesn't happen when it should, and then it's got to happen the next day. Dude, this could be with a CEO. This could be with a girl who you're trying to break up with. I don't know. But one thing that I learned is you got to freaking run into these situations. And I actually, once I really understood what the weakness part of my game was, as it relates to business, like once I understood what the weakness was, I was like, dude, this is the biggest opportunity ever. This is where I'm going to improve, because I'm good at a lot of other things, but like these couple things, I'm not good at all, and I'm not confident with it. And so once I actually made the switch to say, dude, I'm going to get freaking good at this, I went through like a little checklist, and I'm going to share that with you. But once I decided like I'm going to go in and improve these things, that's when things really started taking off for me. And so I just want to let you know, like, weaknesses are opportunities. It's never a problem. It's never a deficit. It's something that can literally be the biggest opportunity and turning point for you in your business career and ultimately your life. I mean, for me, it was my life, because my business and the career turned into income, which turned into some form of freedom that I experience today. I've been able to invest in real estate and, get 7-figure net worth and, I'm having my best year ever this year. So, all those things happen. But at the beginning, it was like insecure, no confidence, scared, didn't know how to handle this problem. And so what I want to do when we come back from the break is I want to kind of start laying out some steps that you can do to identify these situations and then freaking dominate them. We'll be back.
All network marketers, if you want to work from home, if you want to be your own boss and get the life of freedom you want, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Global Affiliate Marketing Pros is onboarding only 500 people to be a part of its pre-launch team, where day one you will begin training on Grant Cardone's #1 sales training platform, Cardone University. You will be trained on your own CRM, packed with automated funnels, leads, your own website, access to fully functional mobile app. You will receive an additional 1,000 leads the second you sign up on GAMP. Sign up now with Global Affiliate Marketing Pros at GampItUp.com. That's GampItUp.com. Get your marketing and copy right the first time and save your company from a $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 mistake. You have to simplify the process and keep it simple, and that's what we do at Pixel 506. We will outthink your competition, create the fastest, most effective marketing and web design, and grow your business with leads and effective top-notch marketing strategies. Sign up now at pixel506.com.
Opportunity, it's what we live for. Financial freedom is created from opportunity. At Symmetry Financial, we are committed to getting hard workers, talented individuals who love to sell, who love to help others create a strong six-figure income. If you ever wanted to have everything you wanted in life, Symmetry Financial holds the key to get you there. We want you, the top talent, the best in the business, to join our team.
Sign up now at sfgcareers.biz. That's SFG. Are you tired of buying ads? How much would 5 times more visitors from search engines like Google or Bing do for your business? Link Research Tools helps you increase that free organic traffic. We have offerings to get your business to become the dominant force on the internet. The secret of internet traffic is what we give you. We convert that traffic into cash flow for your business. Learn more at linkedresearchtools.com. That's linkresearchtools.com and sign up now.
Okay, so welcome back, young hustlers. We're talking about weaknesses today and how you can freaking dominate your weaknesses. So, like weaknesses, you just got to understand, you got to get it burnt in. This is the big opportunity. This is the growth. This is your multiplier. This is where you start leaping and you start having big advances in your income. I know it was for me. Went from barely making 30 grand to 80 grand to 200 grand to 300 grand to 500 grand, and it just starts compounding. But it was all because of a decision I made at the beginning that my weaknesses were going to be an opportunity for me to freaking dominate and harness them. Because I know that if I can improve the things that I suck at, then life is going to be a lot easier. And so, again, 2 schools of thought. Number 1, hire to solve your weaknesses. You'll hear a lot of that. Don't get confused. They're talking about people that are advanced and down the road. They're talking about the CEO. They're talking about the guy that's got money, the entrepreneur whose business is growing and he's got enough money to invest in hiring people to fill those gaps. This is not most people, right? This was not me. The other school of thought is, dude, you got to figure out how to work through these problems so you can hopefully get to a point at one day where you can hire people to do the things that you freaking hate doing, right? Like paperwork or whatever, having conversations or cleaning the house, whatever the deal is, right? So most of us are in category 2, which is you got to figure out a way to work through these things. So the first thing you have to do to dominate your weaknesses, number 1 thing that you have to do is you got to keep your eyes open. You got to be freaking aware. You got to take an inventory of the things that you're not good at. If you can't confront the things that you're not good at and you can't say like, these 3 things are holding me back in life. If you can't have that conversation with yourself, this whole process never gets started. Now, for me, if I never confronted that, my weakness was security, it was friends, it was home, it was not wanting to cold call, it was all these things, but I started breaking all those. I started saying, well, I'm going to move for a job. I'm going to move to an area that I don't know. I'm going to be uncomfortable. This is the opportunity. And then once I was in it, dude, I actually started getting more motivated and inspired because I was like, man, I'm pushing myself in what I feel like I'm capable of or whatever that may look like for you. But for me, I was like, dude, I'm doing the right things and I could feel myself growing even though I wasn't making money yet. Even though I hadn't seen the benefit, I knew I was doing the right thing. So the first thing you got to do is you got to come up with a list, right, of the things that you know that you're weak at. And then you got to you got to have the conversation with yourself saying like, these are the real things. Like for me, one of my weaknesses was smoking weed. And I didn't think that was a weakness. I thought that was just fun, right? I thought, dude, everything's better when you're stoned, Going to Target, going to the yogurt shop, watching movies. I was like, dude, everything's better when you're stoned. Except your ability to make money. And for me, that was more important. Making money and being successful was more important than having fun and watching movies and eating freaking Sour Patch Kids, right? What? And nachos and burritos and stuff. So I had to make a decision, right? So look, you got to come up with your list of weaknesses. Then the second thing that you need to do is you got to start you got to pick one of these things. Like you can't. Rome wasn't conquered in a day, right? So you got to take this list of the things that you're weak at, and then you have to pick one thing. If you focus on all of them, you're going to get overwhelmed. Then you're going to quit. Then you're going to feel failure. Then you're going to feel like you lost. And then it's going to be harder for you to come back and fix those things. I know this because I tried. I tried to do it this way, and it just didn't work. And so, like, sometimes this can be a really hard thing to confront. You know, we've had new salespeople before who have a hard time confronting the cold call thing. And I'm like, okay, look. Don't focus on the 250 cold calls that we want you to make today. Get your list, make one call. They're not even going to answer the phone. You're going to leave a voicemail. Make one call. Confront the beast. Make that one call. They pick up the phone, they make one call, they leave a voicemail. What happens? They're like, wow, I didn't die. That wasn't so bad. Okay, now do it again. Another voicemail, 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 voicemail. And then bing, somebody picks up the phone. And then they get hung up on, right? So now we've gotten them in the ring. And so I just encourage you, you got to get in the ring on these things. Like you got to at least put yourself in the situation. And if you give yourself too big of a piece of meat to eat, then you're gonna get intimidated and it's not gonna happen. So number one, you got to come up with a list. You got to come up with a list of the 3 things that you have the biggest opportunity for growth with, the things that you fear the most. You got to come up with that list of things. The second thing that you need to do is pick one and only work on one at a time. Some people may give you other advice. I'm telling you what worked for me. Take one and break it down to something that's like super manageable, like small. Like if you've got to work your way up to 100 push-ups in a day, dude, you got to start by doing at least 1 or 2. You know, people that want to lose weight, they think they're going to show up at the gym and they're going to lose a bunch of weight the first time they get there, and then they get all disappointed because they're like, man, I've been working out for a week and I haven't lost any weight yet. Yeah, it just doesn't work like that. You got to break it all the way down. Get small wins. I just had a baby. My wife was pregnant before that. For 9 months pregnant women are very uncomfortable, and it's not a whole lot of fun for them. And they're like, they just can't. So I was doing a lot, right? And part of that meant I wasn't going to the gym in the morning. Then the baby comes, and then it's like all bets off. It's like sleep's just freaking nuts. So you turn into like a robotic zombie, weird thing. But I've been working out. So I'm like, okay, hey, I'm starting to not like the way that I look. I need to get back into the gym. So I don't go into the gym thinking, dude, I got to work out for 90 minutes. I got to get back in the thing. I'm like, okay, go down, do 15 minutes of cardio, do some exercises for like 10 or 15 minutes, break it down into something manageable. Dude, I've been to the gym every day this week. I feel great. I'm winning every day, right? And then I got to work my way into the big deal. So number one, you've got to come up with your list. You've got to be aware of them. And then number 2, you have to break them into small and manageable chunks so that you don't get overwhelmed. I want to, just before I move any further here, I want to acknowledge the 6 people that called in today. Thank you so much. Lines are just loaded, jammed up. Let's go to a first caller. First caller, thank you for calling Young Hustlers. Dude, what is your biggest weakness?
This is Michael in
Hi,
California.
Jared. I just wanted to be able to thank Natalie for welcoming me on the show and for you hosting the show, speaking with me today, and for Grant helping millions of lives out there.
You're the man, Mike.
Awesome. Thank you. My name is Michael Osada. My biggest weakness, I would have to say, is not really taking myself seriously to a level where, you just don't actualize your potential. It's really a thing that I believe so many people have problems with, and this is something that is very, people don't take the information and implement into their lives and take action on based on what they have available to them to learn. So cut straight to the point, please, Jared, and get to the throat. What is it that you would be able to do that would help you actualize your potential and taking yourself seriously and implementing all the knowledge and experience from others that you could be able to create more success with?
Okay, good. And so, hey, Mike, that's a great question. And as soon as we get back from the break, I'm going to answer how you can take more action and how you can implement your potential and talent. This is Young
Are
Hustlers.
you ready to turn your knowledge, expertise, and ideas into millions? Russell Whitney, the expert mentor, has worked with top experts around the world. People like Robert Kiyosaki, taking their knowledge to the global marketplace. Join Russell's free Expert Mentor online class. You'll learn how to boost your sales and influence and 10x your income as a highly paid expert in your niche. Register for this free Expert Mentor training for fans of Grant Cardone. That's expertmentor.com.
There's only one company to work for in the smart home industry, Skyline Security. Right now is looking for the best of the Grant Cardone following to join their team and expand financially and professionally. Go to joinskyline.com to register. Labeled by Inc. 5000 as the fastest growing company for the last 2 years in a row, you get to protect families, grow your wealth, and join a team of top producers. Skyline is looking for great people. Go to joinskyline.com. That's joinskyline.com to get started on a brand new 10x career path. Go to joinskyline.com to register.
You are a business owner who needs custom software solutions to automate, speed up, and enhance your business. Let Nico's Computer Engineering get you started today. With a free consultation, CEO and owner Tim Clark has spent the last 10 years building custom software for companies around the United States. Nico's Computer Engineering knows that you value speed to market. That's why we have the fastest turnaround and software implementation on the planet. Go to nicoce.com. That's nicoce.com to get started right now. If you are a contractor in any industry, grow your business with access to our national app registry. Find jobs and be found by customers all across the United States. Increase your job intake and grow your business. Pro Service Finder was built with the customer and the contractor in mind. It is a simplified app to get you more business. Find the best clients, find the best contractors, no hassle, just straight business. Take care of your business and your home today. Sign up right now at proservicefinder.com. That's proservicefinder.com.
Hey, we're back. Young Hustlers every Thursday noon East Coast Standard Time. GC and me, your boy JG, we come and we try to bring you some information that'll help you get more of the things that you want in life, success, happiness, all the good stuff. Before the break, Mike asked a question. He's like, dude, how can I take myself seriously and realize my potential and actually actualize, what I'm capable of? Dude, again, identify the thing that you want to fix and then break it down into something small. Like break it down into something small. What's something that you can do that would move you forward? Like, what does that mean for you? Do you feel like your potential says that you should write a book? Do you feel like it says that you should start a business? Do you feel like it's that you can provide more value in the company that you're in? Then you have to do something. Like, you actually have to do it. So, like, I've always had in my head, I'm like, wow, hey, there's all this internet marketing stuff going on and I really need to get my head wrapped around it more. I'm wondering if there's some product that I can start to, build a sales system out for and put marketing behind. And I keep like putting it off. And I'm like, I need to figure out how to do this because it's a big part of our business. And until I get involved in the whole process, I know that I'm not going to fully understand everything. But I keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And so, like, the thing that I'm convinced myself of is I just have to start. Like, I have to make an investment of either time or money in that direction. Because once you commit with time or money, it becomes real. And so again, don't try to fix the whole deal, but try to find a little small entry point that you can get in and at least make progress. Because right now you're not doing anything. You're marching in place. So just take a step in any direction, and that should break you loose. Next caller. Let's go to another caller here.
I got Augusto in Orlando.
Augusto from Orlando. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, pleasure. Thanks, Jared. It's awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good to have you on, man. We're talking about weaknesses today. Dude, what's your biggest weakness?
Yes, sir. I think for me it would be spreading myself too thin. And I like the advice that you're giving about focusing on 3 things at a time and then picking one and then taking that to micro level and doing it a little bit at a time. And I really like the analogy you did about push-ups. That's easily relatable as well. And was just wondering if you ever find yourself sometimes with too much on your plate or maybe spreading yourself too thin, like how do you regroup and get more focused?
Yeah, that's a great question, man, because that happens to me a lot. We add a lot of new things. organization is probably the thing that keeps you most in line, because like I got this planner, and like I carry it with me everywhere, and I'm constantly like writing down all the things that I have going on, all the things that I do, and I operate out of lists and check marks and crossing stuff out on lists.
Awesome.
And so sometimes for me, like even in our office, like I work in an area that's kind of like open and there's a lot of people around, just discussions and conversations, it can be distracting. So sometimes I just have to like remove myself and drop myself into the studio that we're in right now and just work like uninterrupted for an hour. But I don't get overwhelmed with the entire list of things that I have to do. I'm like, okay, dude, get one to a done. Like get one thing finished. And then so I work it out, jam it out, and then I cross it off my list, and I immediately feel like I can get more done, and I'm making progress, and then that inspires you, gets you a little bit more motivated, and then you can start tagging into everything else. A great example also is like with your day. So people with time management issues, you know, Grant talks about breaking your day up into 15-minute chunks and having a specific target that you're looking to hit within those 15 minutes. For me, I used to do it over a couple hours, but I'd have a target for phone calls. I'd be like, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I want to try to make 100 phone calls. And so that's all I'd focus on for those 2 hours, is just phone calls. No emails, no follow-up, no nothing. Literally just the phone calls. And so I think breaking those things down into segments like we talked about will probably help you with that. So I appreciate the call. So look, like weaknesses are something that can be overcome. You don't have to like what you do. I think that's a big misconception that people have. They feel like they have to like what they're doing, because a lot of people talking about like, oh, you got to love what you do, and you know, you should love waking up every day. Like, dude, there are days that I feel like I want to stay in bed and sleep. Like, there are days that I'm like, man, I got to show up to an office. Like, everybody goes through that same thing. But for me, I'm like, oh, you just got to handle that. Like, because there's somebody laying in bed that's saying, I don't want to go in, and they don't. And they call in sick. But I showed up, and I did it. And over time, the person that continues to show up is the person that will always win. So, you know, we talked the other day about, like, I'm doing the same amount of work today as I did when I very first started. But I'm just getting paid a lot more money for it. Like, you do the same work, you stick to it, you do the right thing over time, you are able to produce more, create more, and become more valuable. So you just have to get the whole process started. And that starts with saying, hey, where do I suck? And like, what's just one thing that I can fix? Not the whole thing, like one little thing. What can I fix here? And then that, you know, it certainly helped me. So let's see. Number one, take an inventory of where you're at. Number two, you have to create a list and pick one thing to tackle, you know, so you don't get overwhelmed. Number three, if there's role play involved, you've got to role play. So like for me, the closing thing in a negotiation with a C-level executive was tough for me. So I just had role play set up where I had somebody in the office that was working with me. I'm like, dude, be a complete asshole, be completely unreasonable, and talk about this one thing. Talk about contract term, or talk about setup fee, or talk about too much money, or offer me 10% or 20% of what I propose, whatever the case may be. And so like I'd work through handling those situations, but if you're never getting yourself like in the ring, this is the fourth step. You have to force yourself into those situations. So for me, I remember like literally I'd be looking at my phone at a contact that I had to call, and I knew it was going to be a nasty call. Like that, I just knew. I was like, man, this is not going to be a fun phone call. And I just push the button and I just call. And if I failed miserably, I still felt good because I got in the ring. So like most people never experience that little tiny win because they're afraid of the loss. I win more from making the action, or making the call and taking the action, than I lose from not handling the situation the right way. Does that make sense? So like I want to step up to the plate in front of a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, even if I miss, even if I don't get what I want, because when I turn around, I'm going to be like, dude, I got up there and did it. It didn't turn out how I wanted to. It didn't turn out how I planned. But the next time I get up there, I'm going to be a little bit more confident. I've been up here before. It's something I've done before. I may still fail, but like, hey, I feel a little less tension, a little less of the nerves. I feel a little bit better about standing in front of a object flying at you at a high speed. And then you do it again and again and again. And the next thing you know, you hit a foul ball. Man, I got some wood on the ball now, right? And so this is gonna happen in your career, but it will never happen if you don't step up to the plate, you know? You've gotta know the things that you're weak at. You have to make a list of them. You have to find out which one you're gonna tackle first and avoid going all in on all of them because you're gonna overwhelm yourself. And then you must practice and put yourself in the situation. A lot of people, with the internet space right now, they get trapped in this like perpetual education and they never actually go do things. Like you can learn about digital marketing, or you can learn about exercise, or you can learn about diet or being a good mom or dad. Like you can learn anything online today. But if you don't ever put any of that into action, it's worthless. So you have to take things and actually do something with it if you want to grow. And so in my life, I've identified that like that's the thing that helps me. And probably the best way to look at it is like the win you will feel from just doing the right thing, even if the outcome isn't what you want. The win you will feel from stepping onto the field will outshadow the failure times 10, I promise you. But if you pull away from these things, then you're gonna continue to feel like, man, I've got this thing that I just can't shake. So we got some more callers on the line. Natalie, who we got next?
I got Sarah in Kansas.
Sarah in Kansas. Sarah,
Hi, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, welcome to the show. We're talking about weaknesses today. What's the thing? What is the thing, the big weakness that you have been avoiding?
Okay, it's not necessarily avoiding, but I really need some ruthless feedback on how women in this industry push forward without being confined as just cute or what's the word I've been described as? A lot of people describe my passion as being cute. They don't take me seriously, or they're blinded by other things like my beauty or just my charisma. And I feel like it takes me or takes them in our relationship off track to the point where sometimes, in an effort not to compromise myself, I just end those relationships with people because they don't know how to draw the fine line.
Yeah.
And I want to know how to be a shark. I don't want to learn how to be cute. I don't want to be timid. I want to learn the business. I want to be very intentional in my direction. And I want people to take me serious and not just as this woman that has all these things together and they think of me as a wife instead of a business partner.
Yeah, no.
How does that happen?
I'm with you. And so first of all, you just have to stop thinking of yourself as a woman and just as a person. And like, what's the right thing to do as a person? And so like, if you're on a phone call with somebody and like one thing for sure that you can do to force people's hands is you always make them take an action. Like always put yourself in a situation, like if you're on a business call or something where you're gonna tell somebody that they need to take an action. You know, where do we go from here? Have you heard enough to make a decision? You know, what comes next? Like always force a subsequent action. You know, because sometimes if you feel like you're getting too soft, like you're not even getting to like the real objection in the deal.
No, I agree.
And so, like, you just have to be, a detective, right? Like, you have to go in, put them in a situation on the ball where they're going to have to make a decision. To take an appointment with you or not. To do the deal or not. And then if they say no, you've got to figure out why. You know, hey, completely understand. I wouldn't be interested if in this point if I was you either. Typically, when I'm not interested in something, it's either number one, I can't afford it. Number two, the product isn't right. Or number three, I don't like the person I'm talking with. Which one is it for you?
Yeah. For me, I like to brand myself with quality. So everything that I'm reaching out to doing is something that I have passion about, I guess you can say. And I think he answered a lot of my questions because in life I feel like it's about finding your like-minded people. But if I'm new to this field, I don't have any mentors. I just needed to know that when I'm leaving these people, okay, well, you're not serious, you're not taking me serious, you're not the one, that is okay, and that I shouldn't be following up with these people that I feel like are just wasting my time.
Well, like what business are you in?
Well, right now I do a little bit of everything. So I can say just entrepreneurship. I do content managing, publishing, copywriting, things of that nature. I have a few partners that own corporations, and so they have allowed me to kind of shadow them. And in return, it's kind of like, well, what can I do to make your load lighter? Or what can I do just to shadow? Because I want to be around great people. I want to be around great minds just to see how the attitude works, how the language is, how the tempo is. Because if you've never been around it, you don't know how to conduct yourself in that environment. So
Yeah.
right. So it's kind of a little of everything. I mean, I have my own direction, but right now I am seeking out mentors and seeking out opportunities that I can do as far as freelancing myself.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just saw something. So yeah, look, Sarah. The first thing is you got to make sure that you take yourself seriously and that you're not thinking of yourself as a woman. You're just thinking of yourself as like a powerful person, and then
Right.
you've got to you have to force action on people, and
Okay.
you when you know what you
that.
when you know exactly what you want. You can communicate that clearly to other people. If you don't even know what you're asking for, you don't know what you want. And I'll just tell you, and thank you for the call, Sarah. I appreciate you calling in. A lot of people get hung up into professionalism and are afraid to push people, men and women. They get so caught up in being a professional and sounding like a professional. We have people in our own office that do this, salespeople. They get so caught up in not wanting to kind of like break the professional stereotype by pushing somebody and moving into that uncomfortable stage that it's damaging. It's damaging. And so that's not a male or a female thing. That's just a thing. So if you can handle that, I promise you, you'll feel better about yourself, and you'll probably get down to the real problem in more instances than not. Who we got next?
I got Julian in Baltimore.
Julian in Baltimore. Julian, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Jared?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good. Good,
Listen, man.
I wanted to tell you guys that I've been in sales for 15 years, and until I started listening to you guys about 8 months ago, I never really felt comfortable being a salesman, and started reading Grant's books and listening to the show. And I'm more confident. I feel like I'm in the right vehicle. And I just want to say thank you to you and your whole staff, and Grant, for all the things that you do for everyone out there, man.
Dude, I appreciate the call, man. And I'll tell you that a lot of folks view sales in a certain way. Like they view sales as, I could never do that. I don't want to be a salesperson. They get into a sales role and they're like, is this for me or not? And a lot of times it just comes down to confronting those things that they don't understand, right? Like for you as a salesperson, you get a few pieces of information that work for you, you feel better about it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So like skill and knowing will always lead to more confidence. Thanks for the call, Julian. Appreciate it. Natalie, who we got next?
I got Cargo in New Jersey.
Cargo, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Jared?
What's going on, brother? Hey, dude, what's one thing that you have as a weakness on your list?
Well, 3 days ago, I lost my father. He was very sick. He was very sick, and I watched him pass away. And
Sorry to hear about that.
thank you, man. This man taught me to always push myself, to respect others, because he was a Marine, and have honor and dignity, and always push yourself no matter what. And he always told me to not have any pride when it came to ask for help. And I was afraid of that until I saw my dad pass away. So now I have this power in me, man, to really push myself harder in life and not be afraid to ask for anything if I need it, or push myself in a way to where I step out my comfort zone.
Yeah. No,
To get
man,
the job done.
dude, that's a big problem for people. And I appreciate the call, Cargo. Dude, it's a big problem for people. Like they're afraid to ask for help. When I talk to companies about our platform, our training platform, a big issue in sales organizations is some salespeople are afraid to ask for help. They're afraid to take a problem to a manager that they view themselves as a weakness. Like your fear of asking for help for something could probably be an ego thing, you know? Like it could be a thing like, oh man, like I don't want to admit that I'm not good at something, but it's just a reposition of how you view the thing you're not good at. If you view it as an opportunity in an area for you to grow and improve, like if somebody was going to pay you $10 million if you could fix that one thing, I bet you'd get working on it today. Like you'd get working on it right away. Now, you know, unfortunately, you had the situation come up with your dad, you know, and that's tough. But the next thing is like continuing the progress, right? So now he's gone. You realize, man, I got to ask for help. I got to be more hungry to fix these issues that you have. You know, but so anyways, I'm glad to hear that you worked through that, Cargo. We got one more caller.
Yeah, I got Vish in India.
Who?
Vish.
Vish?
Hey,
Vish.
man.
Vish, what's going on, man?
Hey, everything's good. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from India.
Wow.
Bangalore.
Bangalore?
Yeah, like great to be on the show, man.
Dude, it's great to have you, man. Got the international influence here. Hey, Vish, what's something that you view as a weakness, something you need to improve in your life or your career?
That's the biggest thing. You know, my weakness it has to do something with fear of deadlines, dude.
Yeah. Fear of deadlines.
You know, yeah, deadlines, you know.
Yeah.
You get prepared for everything, but when the deadlines approach, you get freaked out. I want to deal with it in a better way.
Yeah, so like I'll tell you, I'm the exact opposite. If I don't have a deadline and the deadline isn't close, then I do my best work when I have a deadline tomorrow. Like I used to put all my projects off to like the last day, but I'd always get good grades. Like I knew I had to go all in and focus, right? But I have been around people like you in my life where they're like, oh my gosh, the deadline kind of terrifies them. Dude, you just got to put a plan together to get the project done early so the deadline's not an issue for you. You know,
all right.
In college, I remember I had a senior project, and
that's exactly what's happening with me because I'm taking one of the world's toughest exams, and I got to be prepared for that. You know, it's kind of overwhelming, and I want a better way to deal with it. I thought, you know, I mean, I'm sure you guys can help me with this.
Yeah, dude. Hey, so look, what class is the course in or the exam in?
It's after graduation, dude. It's like an exam which gets you into a top position in your government.
Okay, so it's like a big project, right? It's not a test.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, dude, you just got to take it one day at a time. We had this program that took the entire semester, like the very end class that you take in college. It was a project that took the entire semester. I was literally the only one in my entire group who did any work on the project. Like I basically put like the whole project together because I knew that it was so big that if I waited till the end, I was gonna get killed. And at the time I was going through some other issues. So fortunately, you know, I didn't really have to work for this period of 3 months. I was on unemployment.
Okay.
Not a proud moment, but dude, I got to put all my time into this project, and I was like, okay, hey, I'd set a target for the day, and then I'd just make sure that I got that piece done. So it will probably come down to you for planning on how you're going to execute the project, at what stages you need to have certain stuff done. But to fix that, put yourself on a deadline or on a schedule prior to the deadline where you have milestones along the way. So sit down today, write down everything that you need to get done, all the way up to the project due date, and then break it down into little chunks, just like we talked about. Break it down into little pieces, and then just focus on getting one piece done per day. Focus on checking stuff off your list. What's up?
Mini deadlines, you mean?
Yeah.
I got to break it down to me.
Yeah, don't even. Maybe it's just. It's not so much a deadline as it is like a milestone, right? So you're setting these little milestones along the way, so that you're not looking at this project that's going to take 3 months and 250 hours. You're just looking at the hour and a half that you got to get done today.
Absolutely, yeah.
Break it down to the micro.
Thank you, man.
Dude, thanks for your call,
That was
man.
great.
I appreciate you buzzing in from India.
Great, man. Thank you very much.
So look, weaknesses, everybody's got them. You can choose to do one of two things with them. You can avoid them, or you can freaking run right into them. You can fix it. You can use it as an opportunity to grow, to improve, to increase your value, to increase your confidence, and give you the ability to go out and deliver at a higher level to the marketplace. The 4 things that you have to do, number 1 is you have to take an inventory of the things that you're weak at. You have to write them down on a sheet of paper. Number 2, you have to pick one to focus on and then break that down into small little chunks. If you have a problem with cold calling and you need to make 75 or 80 or 100 cold calls a day, break it all the way down to 1 call. Make the 1 call, right? Because when you take that little bite-sized piece of action, then what's going to happen is you're going to win because you got on the field. You made progress. It'll make you feel good, and it'll make taking the next step of making 2 calls or 5 calls or 10 calls, it'll make it even easier. Number 3, if it's a skill that you can role play, you definitely want to practice and role play. The tail end of that, number 4, would be to force yourself into situations that make you uncomfortable. It's the hardest thing to do in the world, but I promise you it's the one thing that made the biggest difference in my life, was being able to recognize a situation that I wasn't comfortable in and move myself into that situation despite my feelings. It's so rewarding. It feels so good. It's inspiring. You feel like you're growing as a person, and it will really create a lot of momentum for you. So look, I hope this helped you today. Make sure you follow Grant. We gave away $25,000 last night at the World Series. We had 5 people pick the correct score on a $25,000 pot. That was $5,000 each. Okay? So go on Grant's Instagram, go on his Facebook, go on his YouTube. We're running different promos. Every day we're giving about 20 grand away. And as small as increments is $100, and as big as increments is $5,000 and $10,000. So the only thing that's holding you back from getting your piece, in most cases, is a comment on a post, a guess in a contest. That's it. That's all you got to do to win. Grant's been really successful. This has been our best year yet in business, and he wants to give back. He, instead of giving the money to the IRS, instead of, whatever, he wants to give it back to you. It's $1 million. I hope one day in my life I'm fortunate enough to be giving away $1 million. He's doing it. $1 million cash. Get your piece. Follow Grant on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing, tagging. Follow the instructions. Turn your notifications on so when he goes live, you get notified. That's what they're for. That's why they're called notifications. Sometimes they're up here, sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there. Just turn the notifications on, all right? So dude, look, remember, the only ones that condemn the hustle are the ones who have freaking completely give up on it already. Don't let that be you. And make sure you show up next time for the next episode of Young Hustlers.